Queen Ant. Just a bite of sugar cube. It exploded into a torrent of power. This scared the staff on the scene silly. On the other hand, the red ants found out about this and went back to tell the queen, and so began an epic battle between ants. It all started with a box of sweets that was thrown away by humans. The black ants went out for food and found a box of sweets. The ant leader climbed into the box, took one taste of the candy cube and fainted with joy. He then ordered the team to throw away their supplies and carry the box away, because there's enough sugar cubes. There was enough to feed them for years. And what they didn't notice was, there was a ladybird inside the box. The ladybird followed them all the way over the mountains, through the virgin forest. When they crossed a stone fence, they threw the box straight down. The sugar cubes were scattered all over the place. That's when they spotted the fainting ladybird. Do they look like the third emoji on your phone? Oh my god. Just then a lizard appeared. The ants got scared and hid behind the sugar cubes. Only the little ladybird crawls into the box, using the principle of echo amplification, and scared the lizard away. The little ladybug became the ants' savior. The captain of the ants warmly invited the ladybug to be their guest, and so they set off again. They didn't have to go long. There were red ant bandits on the way. The black ant captain was very considerate. He gave the red ants a sugar cube, and the red ants were not to be trifled with. The red ants immediately chased after the black ants. They tried to take all the sugar cubes from them. The black ants ran down the hill. The red ants used the cans as a car and chased after them. Eventually they all fell into the river. With the current, the red ants chased the black ants. They had a great rafting trip down the gorge. The little ladybird fell into the water and got caught by a big fish. Luckily, the big fish is not very smart, and the ants help each other to save the little bug. But the danger doesn't stop there. The ants rushed into the box and fell off the cliff into the current, and the box was destroyed. They had to carry the sugar cube onwards. The ant has probably experienced many hardships in life. The tiny body is carrying 6 cubes of sugar. The little ladybird followed behind, pretending not to see anything, and the red ant, with his years of experience in life, they find the black ant with ease. They were crossing the road. A car suddenly approaches. The red ants are frightened and flee, but the black ants are united and have managed to escape the danger. They then return to the black ant kingdom with a bounty of supplies. At last, this ant has let go of the hardship of life, but danger is brewing. The red ant captain returns to his nest. He reported the situation on the black ant side. The queen heard that one bite of sugar was enough to cover her year's production. She called an emergency meeting. Then the red ants set out with their weapons. The next day, they went straight to the black ant gates and called for a fight. The black ants woke up in a flash. They looked out of the window. Oh my god. The red ants had surrounded the castle. They didn't even have to talk about it. They just used force to suppress it. A box of toothpicks with a slingshot. This is more powerful than 10,000 rounds of arrows. The black ants are not afraid, throwing buckets of cotton swabs down the hill. The red ants were no match for them. Then a bucket of capsule, and then some chili noodles. At this point the red ants flicked a steel ball, and it's gone straight through the castle. This is bad. The queen rushes to gather her brothers. She called an emergency meeting. The chief of staff has made some calculations and come up with a secret weapon. The black ants take the high ground with their secret weapon. The red ants continue to attack the gates, and the black ant captain pushes open the matchbox. He saw that he didn't know how to use the matches. The black captain studied the instructions. He stood on top of the match and rubbed it. The match was on fire. The red ants retreated in fear. Then the captain lit the cannonball. The cannonball spun 18 times in the sky. It landed firmly in the red ants' army. A few lucky spectators were randomly selected. When he tried to light a second shell, the match went out. Red ants seized the opportunity to hit hard. Small slingshots are also fired non-stop. Forks and spoons were also used as heavyweight weapons. Just as the black ants were panicking, the ladybird remembered. There was still a box of matches in the forest. With the help of a paper plane, the ladybird managed to fly. The black ants looked at the paper plane, looking forward to the ladybird's return, because the black ant's life depends on it. The ladybird flies over the big river, having a lunch on the way. At last, they find the matches, but then a little spider happens to be carrying the matches to take back to its home. The ladybird had to follow the spider all the way up and down the mountain. At last, they reached the spider's house. Just as he arrived at the spider's house, a frog came to make trouble, and the house collapsed, and the ladybird fell into a coma. When the ladybird woke up, he found that the spider had saved him. The kind spider even gave him food. After eating his fill, the ladybird quickly regained his strength. He told the spider that he had come for the matches. There was no time to explain. The ladybird picked up the matches and flew off. While on the way, the ladybird spotted a swarm of flies chasing a mother ladybird. The righteous ladybug stepped forward and shouted, "Let go of of the girl. 5 flies were instantly enraged by the ladybird. They chased him and started an aerial battle. At that moment a car appeared on the road. The ladybug dodged the car with a sideways flight, but the flies were in trouble. He hits the headlights of the car and fell on the road. The little ladybird is victorious. With the matchbox in his hand, he continues his flight. By now the battle between the black and red ants continues. The black ant's nest is in danger. Luckily, the ladybird appeared just in time. With the matchbox, he flew to the black ant kingdom. The black ants lit up all the matches. When the red ants saw this, they thought, this is the end. Numerous cannonballs hovered in the air and then headed straight for the red ants. Faced with the powerful weapons, the red ants had lost a lot of money. After a barrage of shells, the red ants were in disarray. They retreated in droves. After 49 hours of fighting, peace has once again reigned in the ant kingdom.